All right, so we are back now with our final list of 2023. We've just done our Indian best and worst Indian movies of 2023, as well as our Pizza Time Indian movies of 2023. If you want to go watch that, that should already be up. But we also mentioned we're going to do our best of 2023 Western films, or everything other than Indian films, I guess, if you're interested. So that's what we're going to talk about now. We're just going to jump straight into it. We're going to do our top 5. And we'll start with our 5th, go working up all the way to the number 1 spot. And let's get right into it. Alex, I'm going to start with you on this one, since I started on the other one. So why don't you give us your fifth spot for best of 2023?
I feel like this might surprise you. It's going to be Scream 6.
No, I don't.
I really liked it. And it makes me sad how bad it's going with Scream 7. They lost the director. They lost both stars.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare situation. But Scream 6, that movie was fantastic. It was a fun horror film that we don't really get anymore. Especially from the slasher genre. Everything that came out this Halloween was pretty much surrounding like The Exorcist and supernatural crap like that. So this movie, Scream 6, was a great way to finish off, in my opinion, probably the series. If I'm Paramount, I stop here and I say, this is it. I'm not making Scream 7. I'm not making Scream for another 10, 15 years. It's going to end with Scream 6. It has a good ending. Everything connected pretty well. They brought back old characters. A Scream 6.
Yeah, I don't fault you for that. I also love Scream 6. I think we called it probably ranking up there, like within the top or second spot in the franchise in general, I think, right? Is that where you started?
I would say that. I would absolutely agree.
Yeah,
it's way up there.
It's really up there for me too. I loved it. I wouldn't have it in my top 5, but I strong movie. I had a great time with that movie. We both really, really liked it. So I don't fault you for that at all. I think that makes a lot of sense.
All right, cool.
My number 5, this I don't think should surprise anybody, but it is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It is the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. One reason why it shouldn't surprise you is because I actually thought this was better than the first one, which I already thought was a masterpiece. And I love that movie. And so this one I thought was even better. And so, yeah, when you look back at it, you just go, look, they brought you back the same top-notch, world-class animation, brought that all back. What I thought was an even stronger story and more intriguing story than even in the first one, where we're exploring Miles having to deal not only with like his love life, which I thought was really nice to get into, and his balance with his family, but also like him having to deal with what it means to be Spider-Man amongst all the Spider-Men in the Spider-Verse, which I thought, that in and of itself sounds like it could be a rehash of Spider-Man 2, which is what movie was about too. But I think they nicely made a little notch for themselves in the pantheon of Spider-Man films. And I just, everything about that movie I think is just phenomenal and pushed me through. I guess the only qualm I have about it is the fact that it kind of ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, but at the same time, we knew that was going to happen. So I can't fault it too much because they made it very clear there would be a part 2 to this, so that's fine. So that's my number 5 pick.
Surprisingly, didn't make my top 5. Actually.
Yeah,
I didn't love it the way you loved it.
Sure.
You're a Back to the Future 2 guy. I'm a Back to the Future 1 guy.
Yeah.
So like, there's that like internal argument. I thought the first Spider-Verse was much better.
Totally.
I do think this is a good movie, but again, I do fault it for it ending on a cliffhanger. It's a very big cliffhanger. And then, in my opinion, the last, I want to say 30 minutes of the film, it's just everything is tossed at you. And if we, cut out a couple of the jokes earlier in the film, or I can't believe I'm saying this, if we cut down the scene where he's running away from the Spider-Man, because that was like a 15-minute scene. If we cut that down by maybe 5 minutes, you could slow it down a little bit, and I think the effect of him being in the other world, being in the wrong Spider-Verse, all kind of would click a little bit better, and it would be more effective.
Sure.
But that's where I fault that movie a little bit. But yeah, not my top 5. Yeah, but yeah,
I say fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah. So number 4, the only superhero movie that made it on the list this year.
Oh wow,
Guardians 3.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay, I'm more surprised about Guardians.
Which one did you think it was
past
gonna
your
be?
5? Holy crap! Huh?
Yeah. Which one did you think it would be?
Oh no, I don't know. I'm in general. I just didn't think Guardians would breach your top.
Shazam was terrible. Blue Beetle was terrible.
Well, I'm not saying you had to have a superhero film. I'm just saying
great.
in general.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like I do.
Wow.
I feel like I have to.
Well, okay, I'll say this. I am actually pretty surprised you don't have Across the Spider-Verse higher than that movie. That is what I'm surprised about.
I've rewatched Guardians 3, I want to say 2 or 3 times now.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I've like on planes and somewhere. I've done a lot of travel.
Yeah. Okay.
So like every time I watch it, I'm like, okay, I wasn't overly in love with it to begin with, but the more I watch it, the more I'm like, this is a good story. It's got a lot of heart in it, and it is the last time we see these characters as the original Guardians. So I think it goes back up there for me. It's number 4.
To be fair, it's not like I'm saying Guardians should be at the bottom. I actually would put that as my second favorite superhero movie of the year. So it was a really strong film. I actually thought it was probably better than number 2, which I also like number 2. So I don't fault you for having it up there. It's definitely one of the better superhero films. I'm just surprised it's even above Across the Spider-Verse. That's all. But strong choice.
What do you got for it?
Number 4. So this one is John Wick Chapter 4.
I thought this would be higher in your list.
It probably would be if it wasn't for one particular movie, maybe 2. But John Wick Chapter 4. I mean, I think it's one of the best action films ever made. It's easily the best John Wick film, in my opinion.
You know what?
What?
I forgot to include a movie. I would probably have to push Guardians.
Okay. What? You're now replacing your number 5 spot?
I would have to put. I would have to replace my number 4.
4 spots. 4 spots. 4
spot. Scream 6 is going to be my number 5 spot.
Okay.
What?
All right. Go ahead.
Like my number 4 spot, I would have to push Guardians because I forgot about a movie that would go higher. So I actually have to put John Wick Chapter 4 with number 4 with you there because I can't not put it in the top 4.
Right.
I completely forgot about a movie we just recently watched that was fantastic, and I completely forgot that it really should be in the top 10, even though we're talking about Western movies. It needs to go in the discussion.
Gotcha.
It was fantastic. So yeah, it would be John Wick 4. You tell them why it's great.
No, I mean, like I already started. Dude, it's just talk about going through 3 films already and needing to wrap it up and then figuring out how excellently to do so, which was to not only ramp up the action yet again with some of the greatest action set pieces I think ever put to film. The top-down shot, the end staircase sequence, the Osaka sequence that opens up the film. I mean, wow, who knew that? So you had these long sequences, but then in between, you also get a good amount of, I think, what was a good story to go by, which was the consequences of John's actions throughout all 3 films finally are getting to people that he are friends with and loves. And then seeing that culminate at the end, and then freaking Donnie Yen, bro.
There it is.
Donnie Yen, son. Such a big hit that I think he's gonna be like in his own shit probably. They better, but well, I don't know. Yeah, it's incredible action movie. So John Wick Chapter 4. All right, let's move to your number 3 because that would be your 4. You said.
Yeah, that would probably be my 4.
You switch that out with Guardians. Oh, you're thinking about it.
Now that I think about it,
Here we go.
Might have to move back to number. That I have to go. All right, that's my number 5. My number 4.
This is great.
My number 4 would actually be Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning.
Okay.
And it only drops to number 4 because there was 2 movies that followed it that really kind of ate up its box office and destroyed it. That were better than it, in my opinion. But I also like. I feel like there was a lot of great about the movie, like the scene in Rome where they're chasing away, but it didn't have that Fallout spectacle to it. And I think it really hurt the movie, and it hurt the marketing of the movie. There's this massive action set piece where he jumps off a mountain to get onto a moving train, which is a crazy scene. Plus the insane scene where they're trying to escape the train and they get shot up and down. It was all really well done, but overall, it just kind of lacked the overall spectacle of Fallout, in my opinion. Or I don't know, man. I don't know. Fallout just has that like that something to it, you know?
I don't know, man. Like we've had lengthy discussions about this because look, Dead Reckoning was my cusp pick. Like that was my sixth. That was basically my sixth. If we did a 10,
Didn't make your top 5.
It didn't make my top 5, but it is number 6. It's literally below Across the Spider-Verse. Dead Reckoning was. I love Dead Reckoning. It hurts my soul to know it did poorly at the box. It didn't make its money back. It was a flop. It's considered a flop, and it's just like, what? Like I cannot. It's one of the biggest blunders. Mysterious blunders of cinema I can't explain. We could attribute to a lot. Probably it was its slot in the schedule. But still, the movie was so strong. I don't even understand how people weren't talking about it. Like how I thought it was gonna have legs, but I guess you said yourself it was probably because like the next week I forgot what came out, but like it was just the schedule that sort of tarnished all of the legs it could have had. And because wow, it's really one of the best movies of the year for sure. And but it just, wow. I don't know. We could talk about a whole video on that, but I won't go into it. But yeah, anyways, strong pick, still strong pick. Yeah.
So what's your number 3?
Okay. My number 3, we're getting into now, obviously sort of what I consider like the Oscar realm of what I would consider truly like the top of the year. And so the obvious is...
Oh, wait, I haven't given my number 3. I forgot because it's 4.
Oh, right, because you pushed it down. Go ahead.
Right. My number 3, I think, is Oppenheimer.
It's mine too, so there you go.
Okay, yeah, and you're getting into the... We're going to start, nitpicking, like, which is better. Fantastic movie.
Incredible.
It paced so well. Robert Downey Jr., I hope he gets a nomination for it. I hope Cillian Murphy gets a nomination for it. Everybody was so good.
Cillian should hold it. I think he should win it. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, supporting for RDJ, I hope. He was robbed. He was robbed when he was nominated for supporting.
I think he will get a nom for sure. I'm wondering if he should win it. I don't know. I'd hope he'd win it. I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it.
Yeah. But yeah, the movie's fantastic. Christopher Nolan, that bomb scene was insane. Building Los Alamos was crazy how he did it all, and it was a film packed with so much detail and so much information. Yet you never felt overwhelmed. I don't think everything was always clearly presented to you. Hey, was he a commie? Was he not a commie? Hey, did we need to drop the bomb? Did we probably shouldn't have dropped either bomb, turns out. And there's like so many like scenes in there that just kind of like, they're simple moments, but they hold so well and like or they're so impactful is what I'm looking for. Like when they're all in the meeting room and they're talking so nonchalantly about dropping this bomb. He goes, we can't go to Tokyo because I went there, and
right.
You know what, we can't go to Osaka either because I went there on a honeymoon, so we can't bomb that place. And it's just like, that's how that went. That's how that went. And then the scene where he meets the president, and the president tells him, "What do you want, a tissue or something?"
Yeah,
that scene. Yeah, Gary Oldman. There's so many like cameos in the movie. It's a fantastic movie.
It is stacked, really stacked. No, I agree with you. It's my number 3 pick. And to be honest with you, the reason why it's number 3 is you said overwhelming. I actually thought like just the beginning part to me was a little overwhelming. I think
a little jarring.
It's a little, it's just a lot. And and then you know what? Nolan's been falling into this with his past couple of movies. But I will say that the rest of the movie though is just so insanely strong from a filmmaking standpoint, from every standpoint, that it's just like I can definitely forgive it, because I think it's one of those movies where it truly gets better to the end. What the last 15-20 minutes are like my favorite part of the movie. The whole with RDJ and all it having to wrap up with the hearing, all that drama just wrapping up, I thought was the strongest part of the film. I wanted more. I was like, I would have been like, okay, if we kind of just took the first maybe 10 minutes of the film and like dumped some more into the end, because I just thought it wrapped up so well. Like after the bomb explodes is where I thought the movie really was the most interesting. And it's just really some of the best filmmaking that we see here. I really hope that it's teed up to, I think, be the big winner this year at the Oscars. But at the same time, you never know.
Yeah,
because it's Nolan, and he surprisingly hasn't gotten his due. But I really hope that he does get it this year, because I think he deserved it a long time ago, in my opinion. But I think he could easily deserve it here, and I don't understand what other movie it could be, because like it's such a huge movie. It was such a big movie. So
yeah.
Anyways, yeah, great filmmaking. Really strong. So let's move on to number 2.
Number 2, it's Barbie.
Get out.
Yeah, it's gotta be Barbie.
For you?
For me, it's gotta be Barbie.
Come on, dog. Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna make your list.
Of course it's gonna be. Like, you cannot have a movie that big with that big of an impact.
I love it.
And like, again, like I could say, like, you can dislike the movie for some of the things it does and says about man, blah, 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 blah. But you can't take away how good and well crafted the film actually is. You just can't. It's, you know, it's made so well. Ryan Gosling is so good. Margot Robbie is so good. America Ferrera is so good. So, like, for me, it has to be up there, number 2. It's just, you can't put it up there. Like, I almost put it number 1 if I didn't remember the last film on the list.
Well, it sounds like our top 3, unsurprisingly, is pretty much the same here. I promise you, we did not talk about this prior. No, this is just me and Alex. This is why we do this show together. Yeah. Oh, I'm honestly dead shocked. I mean, I figured you'd put it in your top 10. I just did not think you were going to put it in the top 2. And when I didn't hear it in your like 5, 4, I was like, okay, it's probably in his like 6 or 7 spot. No. I couldn't be more happy that we agree
put respect on it.
You got to put respect on that name. Barbie is also my second pick. As you know, I absolutely adored this movie. I liked it obviously even better than Oppie, which was like hard for me to believe. Yet here we are.
Hard to wrap your head around. Yeah.
You already said everything I loved about it. I just think for everything that this movie could have been, and for everything this movie was almost fatefully expected to be, I think it absolutely shattered all those expectations and made a space for its own in any direction you want to see it, whether it's like the political space or just it being a dumb movie, quote unquote. I think it's an absolutely smart film. I think the screenplay is wonderful. The performances, of course, again, are just spot on across the board. And at the end of the day, I think you really can't run away from the fact from its impact on an emotional level. I think it did what it was supposed to really do. However you want to categorize it, whether it's like if it's a feminist movie to you, or if it's like or if it's not, or if it's if it's a misogynistic or against men or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, it's still just a really well crafted, fun family movie that I think still had a good message all around. I don't think its message was particularly harmful. It's just hard to like. I'd find it hard to dislike that movie, honestly. But some people do. But as you said, it's made $1 billion or whatever. And,
it's made a lot of money.
Its impact is undeniable, and I think it deserves whatever. Even if it wins Best Picture or whatever it wins at the Oscars, which I wouldn't fight. I think it deserves it. So it's good to see. It's good to see a movie like that kind of get the recognition I think it really does deserve. So, yeah, I agree with you. Okay, 100%. So here's the one.
What's number 1?
Number 1, and I think
it's the same.
It's the same. It's Godzilla minus fucking 1. This movie. Watch our review. Again, we just do a bar fest on it. I think it's one of the best monster movies ever made, if not the best one. And I have a lot of monster movies in my top list for that. And I think this is worthy of saying it's the top spot, even over Cloverfield, which I think is like one of the best monster movies ever made.
For sure.
But that's held the spot for a long time. And this one beats it. The score, the performances, the screenplay, the coloring, everything about this movie, in my opinion, is pretty much perfect. It's emotional. The CGI is incredible. The director directed it, wrote it, and did the CGI. I mean, geez, come on, man. And it's breaking box office records. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. If you haven't seen it, You gotta fucking see it. What else you gotta add to that, man?
Nothing. It makes you wonder what we're doing here. Why
Yeah.
What are we doing in America? Why are we making terrible films left and right with terrible CGI? What are we doing?
One guy's doing it not single-handedly, but you know what I mean. I mean,
like you see like the CGI you got in some of the shots of the Marvels up against this shot. The shot of Godzilla walking. It's kind of like 15 million, 220 million. The Flash, 245, 50 million. What are we doing?
Because, you know, our filmmakers, the filmmakers that we have behind those movies anymore, they're not making it for love. That's why. They're not making it for the love of film. They're not making it for entertainment. Again, a lot of what's been happening lately is that people you got to check mark the boxes of whatever you want to call it. I don't even want to get into it, but there are these check marks that you must have now that must satisfy certain people or groups or whatever agendas and shit. Godzilla doesn't mind that. It's not doing any of that. It's just trying to tell a great story. And this director just loves what he does. And you can see that. It's on screen. He's put the time and the effort. And that's all. That's all cinema ever had to be. It's all what the audience in general out of entertainment ever asked for. And I think we've just really lost our way. And this movie really, man, I think we're gonna owe a lot to this movie in very soon. I'd like to hope so, that we'll owe a lot to this movie, because it's just truly pure cinema. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I think in Japan they're actually going to be screening a black and white version of the movie.
I think it's coming to America.
Oh, I hope so, dude. I hope so. I'm there. It's really special. Anyways, okay. That is our top 5 list of the year 2023.
So, for really quick, what were your worst movies of the year?
Oh boy. Okay, we're gonna do this, huh? All right, hold on. Let me reopen up my app. Why don't you go start with yours, and I have some already. Go for it.
Oh, I mean, some of the worst films this year. I mean,
oh my god.
Oh man, I saw The Killer. That was a terrible film. David Fincher. What the hell are you doing?
It wasn't good. You're already not that it's. I would say it's a bias, but you famously do not care for Fincher too much. More than others, some than others.
More so. Yeah,
I love Fincher, and I don't think he's done anything bad. But I've heard some mixed reviews about The Killer.
Mank was bad.
I didn't hate Mank.
Mank was bad.
Really?
Yeah, Mank was bad.
I didn't love it. I would call it bad.
Heart of Stone.
I didn't watch Heart of Stone because why would you do that?
Sorry. Well, Aaliyah Bhatt's in it.
Aaliyah Bhatt is in it. She's great.
You deserve better.
Oof.
Anything DC did this year, absolutely terrible. I didn't watch Aquaman. I have no interest in watching it.
No one watched Aquaman.
Blue Beetle was bad. Don't sugarcoat it. The Flash was really bad.
The Flash.
Shazam, Fury.
I didn't hate the Flash.
That movie, but
I didn't hate the Flash. I think the Flash was good. It just wasn't. It wasn't great either. I just thought it was good. I had some fun in that movie. That movie was hardly bad, I would say, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'll give you another one that I thought was just not good at all. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Let's talk about disappointment. Like that should have been great, and that was just. I just thought that was awful. A lot of people apologize for that movie. No, please don't, because otherwise we get more of it, and I don't want that. That's one that I didn't like at all. One other one, just to kind of round out sort of it, just movies that were raised up to be something special, and I just thought was really not really good at all. Past Lives, which I just watched recently. It's the A24 movie about two Koreans lovers who reunite after like 25 years, whatever. That was picked up to be that everyone was saying that was like, oh, the best new love romantic. That's not a comedy, but like romantic drama of like the last decade, whatever. It has like 96%. Like it's going crazy. It's not good. I'm sorry. Like it's not like a shit movie. It's just boring as all hell. I don't understand what anyone sees in that movie. It's so boring and bland. It's not bad filmmaking. It's just a boring story. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But that movie was just being talked about all the way through. And I'm just like, no, please stop. No.
Rebel Moon. That's.
Oh yeah, we didn't even finish that.
We stopped it.
I'm not gonna finish it, so that's fine.
I think I need a few weeks after Solar to watch Rebel Moon.
Good lord.
So.
I have some that again, like, these aren't no one's gonna watch these, but I happen to watch these because of the nature of my job. But like some of the worst movies I've seen this year, what the hell was that? Oh my god, why am I forgetting it? I guess I'm just trying to keep it out of my mind. The worst
movie I saw this year was Cocaine Bear.
Oh,
we paid to watch that movie.
Thank you for reminding me of that movie. That came out this year.
That was this year.
Oh yeah, that was awful. That was absolute awful. The
fact that that's almost certified fresh is disgusting.
Oh no, it's really gross, and people should be ashamed. I'm not even afraid to say that. Come at me, I don't care. Please rethink what you're doing, maybe in life. What was that other movie that was just like really bad? Oh wait, no, that's not coming out this year. Never mind, that's not coming out this year. That's next year. So forget it. We'll talk about that one later. I think that's all like the bad stuff. That was all the poo-poo.
Yeah,
the poo-poo this year, I think, for the most part. Is there anything else?
I don't think so.
I feel like there probably was.
I saw the first like 20 minutes of the Expendables 4.
Why would you do that?
I was on a plane.
Yeah.
That was really bad.
I heard that was atrocious.
Really bad.
Yeah. Anyways, I actually had some more like pretty good movies, but at the same time, I want to keep it at 5. I think that's strong enough. This year overall, I don't know.
Yeah.
There were some gems, but then when I was thinking about like the top 10, I was like, it was a little more difficult. It was a little more difficult because when you say like top 10, I think people assume that those are like you would like die for all those 10. I mean, like, after about maybe like 7 or 8, I'd be like, I wouldn't die for these movies, but they were fine. They're good, notable, I guess. This year was okay. It was actually surprisingly, I thought it was gonna be better. Considering what we were supposed to really have and everything that was teed up, a lot of them were big disappointments, like heavy disappointments.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you think of this year in general?
I thought it was a bad year.
It was not good.
Movies. Like nothing was that good.
It was really not great.
Like 3 movies, I think, stuck with me.
Obviously.
One of them was Japanese.
Yeah.
So does it even count?
Yeah, like Barbie and Oppenheimer. I would love those movies. I wouldn't put them in my top. They would not break my top 30, maybe even, to be honest with you. Yeah. So again, Godzilla -1, no, I'm over there. But like those 2 movies and even everything below it, I would say like good movies, but not anything insane.
Yeah. Overall, it's a disappointing year.
We'll see how 2024 goes, and I think what you can look forward to early on in the next year is a look ahead. 2024, maybe both Indian and Western again, just to see what's coming out, and get maybe what we could get excited for the year. But all right, if that is it, Alex, I want to thank you, my friend, because I think this might be one of the last videos we do this year. Thank you for being you, as always, for a great year of talking movies. There's really no one else I would rather be doing this with. So thank you for doing this with me. And again, thank you to all of you for the audience, and hopefully we can get even higher this year for Pizza Time. But thank you for everything you did for us for 2023. It's been a very special year, and we will continue and do more and have fun. Hopefully doing it, and hopefully not get canceled. Yeah, that'd be great.
Maybe we'll see.
Maybe we'll see. All right, guys. Happy New Year again. Happy holidays. Have a great 2024. We'll see you in 2024.